Like different. It's facts, non-fiction. Said I black out for real, then the track gone missing. If it's cap, I'm dipping. We ain't talking about a move, then it's flatline finished. When I spaz, I'm grinning. Put a peel off in the Sadies and I pass by spinning. It's perks with this life, but I don't have my skinnage. Took a quick trip and now I'm back home winning. And I see they eyes pop like I snack on spinach. Pull up to the spot, she tryna grab my digits. I'm already 8 shots, a Henny past my limit. Here you go. Hazards with a dash full of tickets. I'ma act like I don't see them. I got bad eye vision. Y'all can't pass my scrimmage. While y'all tripping, it's Aruba. I realized I had to go and flip.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 170 of Psychotic and Iconic. Paul's here along with my co-host Nick Theories and Philly Phil. Thank you to everybody that's tuned into the live stream tonight. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and share it. Thank you to everybody that likes, follows, and subscribes to all of our platforms.
I just noticed I don't have my hat on today. My MP Sports
Your helmet?
hat. Yeah, my helmet.
Oh, you're not going to be on your game.
Nah, I'm always on my game. Don't fucking do me like that.
Is your volume off?
My volume's off. Did
On
you
your
hear
game.
it? Did you hear it?
On your game.
Did you hear it?
No.
All right.
I had to ask, though.
Why? If you didn't hear it, you don't have to ask.
It could have been on low.
Could have been, but it
You
ain't.
never know.
It ain't.
It ain't. It isn't.
I'm back.
No, you're not. You don't
I'm
have the
back.
helmet. You don't have the helmet.
Actually, I never left. Fuck that. I never left.
You're not circumcised today.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
All right,
Let's get into this shit, man.
So NFL.com released their top 5 offenses in order. 49ers number 1, Chiefs number 2, Bills number 3, regular, Eagles number 4, Jags number 5. You think this is accurate?
This is the worst list I've ever seen in my life.
No cat.
I got to be honest with you. This is really embarrassing for NFL.com to release this list because I don't even have the Niners as a top 5 offense.
Hell no.
And I understand the skill position players, and I get it, but they got Brock Purdy, and to me, there's still question marks at the quarterback position there. So for me, like, I get the weapons, but Debo, he got to like 65 catches a year. Ayuk is an up-and-coming player. Kittle, he blocks half the time. CMC, he's guaranteed to miss a couple games. Like, I get, like, they're loaded at the skill position players, but at the same time, ain't no way in hell on what planet this team is number 1 in the rankings. It's beyond me. I think it's disrespectful to the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Jags, and other teams that we'll talk about when we give our list. But yeah, this is a sickening list.
I thought the same thing. I don't understand the love affair to the 49ers anymore. It's unbelievable.
It's a love fest.
I mean, the Chiefs should be in there, the Eagles should be in there, and the Jags should be in there. The Bills shouldn't be in there, and neither should the 49ers. Like, not for nothing, but the Bills' offense isn't that good. It's just Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Stephon Diggs, but, like, you don't really have a strong wide receiver, too.
Diggs are out.
Diggs are out. You don't really have a strong wide receiver, too. Your running back is okay. And then, like, the 49ers, again, so Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. He just had surgery on his elbow. He played 9 games. Why are they the number 1 offense?
I don't get it. I really don't understand
No,
it,
it's just
bro.
like, what am I missing here?
Yeah, you know what's funny, though, is that, like, when we drop these clips for this episode, the Niner fans are going to be on us like fucking flies on shit because they are the most relentless fan base that I've seen so far on social media.
Because they're just salty.
No, I just think they're all delirious. I don't know what it is over there. I just think that the water is different over there. They're all delirious and they're
coming it.
Whoa, shit! What? It's got something in the water, bro. But this is. I was shocked to see the NFL.com release this. This is quite embarrassing. This is really embarrassing. I mean, everybody on the internet calls us amateurs and we're casual fans. We would never put the Niners number 1. So what the fuck are we talking about here?
Never.
If anything, you should question the NFL.com for being casual fans because this is crazy.
When I saw it, like, I was just staring at it. I'm like, it has to be a typo because I genuinely don't understand. Like, what gives you the impression that the 49ers are a top 5 offense?
They don't have a better core than the Eagles.
Like Brandon Ayuk, he's not a 1. Debo Samuel, he's not a 1 either. He's a gadget guy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
Debo Samuel is not a lineup at the numbers and tear you apart. He is a gadget player that plays perfectly in Kyle Shanahan's system. And that's the reason that he wanted that money when he was fighting with the contract because he lines up in the backfield as a running back.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you don't have a true number 1 wide receiver there.
I wouldn't put him as a number 1 wide receiver. The guy had 94 targets and 56 catches last year. That, to me, that's middle of the pack wide receiver.
He's just a good gadget guy because he's a good runner. He can run the routes and all that. But again, he's not lining up on the numbers and going one-on-one with a cornerback. That's not his game.
I can argue Zay Jones had a better year last year.
He did. Zay Jones did.
And you can call me crazy. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to get a lot of shit for that, but you can call me crazy all you want. But the guy, he produced last year, 82 catches on 121 targets, and he had 5 touchdowns. Okay. Like, yeah, like to me, like he had a better year in the receiving aspect. Like I understand Debo is an explosive runner, but if I put his rushing yards and his receiving yards together, they don't even line up to Zay Jones. And if I added his rushing touchdowns along with his receiving touchdowns last year, which was 5, it equals the same amount as Zay Jones. So for me, yeah, like he's a good name because he's flashy. He makes the highlight plays, but he is not a guy that if you put him on the outside, I am not worried for him to completely tear my defense apart. I just don't see it.
I get more scared of Debo Samuel in the backfield than I do
absolutely
lined up as a wide receiver.
Absolutely. He's great at that. That's what he's great at. And like he's a good player,
yeah.
But to put him in this category where he's going to uplift the Niners to being one of the best offenses in the league, number 1, like I get they have CMC and Kittle, but at the same time, like I said, Kittle last year, I watched him. He had a great year, like towards the end. But for majority of the games, he was blocking a lot and stuff like that. So like I understand that, and I think Kittle's a fantastic player. I think Ayuk's an up and coming player, and CMC, like yeah, he's a good player. He's a great player. He can catch, he can run, he could do all those things. But at the quarterback position, you have Brock Purdy. You're telling me Brock Purdy's leading the number 1 offense in the NFL right now? No. I have a hard time believing that. And I think it's disrespectful to Patrick Mahomes that he's behind Brock Purdy-led offense. Crazy.
Brock Purdy's not even a top 15 quarterback.
Crazy.
You think he's not a top 20?
I think it's disrespectful to the Eagles too, as well.
Disrespectful to the Bills. It's disrespectful to the Chargers.
The Bengals.
So give me your top 5 offenses going into 23 in order.
I got the Chiefs number 1. Mahomes, Kelsey. To me, like until you beat them and figure it out, they're number 1. 2, I got the Eagles. They have the best offensive line. They have AJ Brown. They got Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, who's a top 5 tight end. Yeah, they lost Miles Sanders, but they also got DeAndre Swift. He could also play a big role in this offense. Love the Eagles in number 2. 3, Bengals. 4, I got the Bills here. 5, I got the Jags. I wanted to actually put the Jags 4 because I actually like their offensive skill position players better than the Bills. But I like the quarterback better in Josh Allen than Trevor Lawrence, in my opinion, right now.
So number 1, I got the Bengals. Between Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I think you have 2 wide receiver 1s. Joe Burrow, you have the 2nd best quarterback in the league, and you got Joe Mixon, who's still a top 10 rusher, probably towards the number 10 mark, but either way, he's a top 10 runner. I just think that they have a prolific offense. They're loaded all over the place.
But their line is the question mark.
They are, but Joe Burrow is so good, he just negates it.
I agree.
It doesn't even matter. Number 2, I have the Eagles. They have the best offensive line. They have 2 number 1 wide receivers. They lost Miles Sanders, yeah, but DeAndre Swift is better than Miles Sanders. You added Rashad Penny, and you still got Gainwell. And they're saying that Gainwell might even be the starter at some point because he's playing so well. Number 3, I had the Jags. I think Trevor Lawrence this year is taking a huge step. I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation. I think between Calvin Ridley's return, Christian Kirk showed you last year that he can operate as a 1. You got ETN, you got Bigsby coming in. I love the Jags this year. I think that the Jags are in for a really big year with Trevor Lawrence. Number 4, I have the Chiefs. I get it, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, but I'm just saying on paper going into the season, that's where I got them. I know every year they wind up leading the league in offense.
They did last year.
But it's like, I know they did, but it's like, who were his wide receivers?
They figure it out.
I know.
They got Andy Reid, though. You got to put him in that. Yeah.
So it's like, I get it. It's just, for me, like those 3 offenses are more loaded than the Chiefs.
Sure.
And then number 5, I have the Chargers. I think with the addition of Kellen Moore, I think Herbert's going to play with a big chip on his shoulder because of how he went out last year. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Eckler, Gerald Everett. You added Quentin Johnson. The Chargers, if they could put it all together, they're scary.
Yeah.
Because their offense is as good as anyone's in the league.
If they could put it all together. That's the big if. That's the question mark.
I think that with Herbert being paid, I think there's a lot of pressure on him to produce this year. Now, I know it's only his, 4th year?
This is Herbert's 4th year.
He's a game over 500, blew a 28-0 lead. It's like, I need him to produce more because he's that big of a talent that it shouldn't be like you keep waiting and waiting. Like we just watched Trevor Lawrence in his 2nd year, who was coming from the worst head coach in like NFL history, except from maybe like Ben McAdoo. But like he's coming.
Jeff Saturday,
he's up there. Freddie Kitchens is up there with Baker. But like my thing is Trevor Lawrence already got one for Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert's been playing with a loaded offense his entire career. He doesn't know what it's like to be with Justin. He doesn't know what it's like to be a Josh Allen. He doesn't know what it's like to be a Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't, or even at that point for last year, Trevor Lawrence, because his number one was Christian Kirk. Like he did that damage last year with Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. Zay Jones has been on 4 teams or 3 teams.
Wow. Yeah, he has been.
He was with the Bills, then he was at the Raiders, and now he's with the Jags. And all of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence throws him to 120 targets and 90 catches. So I think the Jags are coming. I love them this year. They're a top 5 offense without a doubt.
I don't hate the list. To me, the Chargers are a little bit too premature for me. I know they have great offensive weapons, and I get that, but like I have to see it a little bit more consistently. And the Bills, the last 3 years, they've been a top 5 offense in the league the last 3 years, and really nothing changed for the Bills. They're still the same Bills. They added Dalton Kincaid in the draft. They have another year of Gabe Davis, who's going to be healthy this year, because last year he actually got hurt, I think, early in the season with his ankle injury. And now they're going to have a healthy Gabe Davis. They have Stephon Diggs. They got Josh Allen. Like they always figure it out for me. And I do like James Cook this year. I think he could play a big role for him. So for me, like I think the Bills offensively are still going to be a top 5 unit.
They just scare me with all that drama this offseason.
No, I get it. Like, look, that's a fair take. Like that would scare me too. But you know, if I'm looking at the historical aspect of this last 3 years, they've always been a top 5 offense, no matter what. You know, so like no matter if Josh Allen was throwing dumb, boneheaded picks, doesn't matter. They find a way to score points and be, you know, competitive in the end.
That's because you have a top 5 quarterback and a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And your quarterback can do he can make all the throws inside or outside the numbers. He can thread the needle. He can run.
Right.
He can do all of the little stuff to overcome the shortcomings of not having a run game or a weak offensive line.
But look, and I'll be real here. Can the Niners be a top 5 offense? Sure. Because if Brock Purdy plays like he did last year, then yeah, I think they can kind of be in that conversation that, you know, by the end of the year, in my opinion.
I think if all things considered, I think if the Eagles are healthy, the Chiefs are healthy, the Jags are healthy, the Chargers are healthy, the Bills are healthy, I don't see any way the 49ers supplant one of those teams as a top 5 offense. Because all of them are better at nearly every position.
But if Ayuk steps up and he has a really great year, like he's like 1,000-yard wide receiver, and you have Debo that can do all the gadget stuff and still make big plays, and Kittle is still Kittle like he did last year down the stretch, and you have CMC, like I can definitely see a realistic situation where they can be in the top 5. I do like their skill position players. I do. It's just, to me, it's just the question of quarterback. Like I'd rather have Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Allen, and Trevor Lawrence over Brock Purdy leading my offense. So for them to put him at number 1, to me, is delusional.
And not for nothing, like I don't think Brock Purdy is going to replicate what he did last year. There was a reason that he got to where he got.
See, I actually think the opposite. I think he's going to be a little bit better because I think he's going to progress rather than regress.
I don't see that. I think
he's in a great situation.
I think a regression is more likely than a progression because you have film on him now.
But the offense works for him. It works for his skill set.
But how's his elbow?
He doesn't have to do much. He just has to get the ball to his playmakers, and that's why they do the short, immediate routes. And they have the perfect wide receivers to do it, and the tight end and the running back. So, like, I don't really see a regression there. I can only see that he can only get better. I mean, look, we're talking about the guy who was the last pick in the draft. And I think my beef is with the whole thing with Brock Purdy and you know, I have question marks, but my biggest thing, like when I hear about Brock Purdy and, the slander with him is if Brock Purdy was a 1st-round pick last year and he took the 49ers to the NFC Championship game, we would be talking about Brock Purdy as one of the best up-and-coming quarterbacks in the league.
Absolutely.
But the fact to remain is he was the last pick of the draft. Nobody's going to give him as much credit because they're looking at it based on where he was drafted. And I don't believe in that.
Well, I just feel like when you're drafted, the lower you're drafted, the more skepticism there is around.
Sure. But he proved it on the field when it mattered most. Is it a flash in the pan?
I mean, yeah,
it could be.
It could be, but he only played 9 games, and then he tore his elbow and his throwing arm. Like, how's he going to recoup from that? How does he feel on that? Does his arm get sore? And I just think like the 49ers are a disaster at quarterback. They're always injured. They always got guys coming in and out. They're just a disaster at quarterback, and it's been like that for what, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy G is a starter. They're kicking Jimmy G out the building. He's training on the other side of the field. They're locking him out of the practice.
Well, Purdy looks really good in preseason, though. I'll give it to him. Despite the arm injury, he actually looked like he did last year. He looked like he was confident throwing the football. He was delivering it like on time. Like to me, like he looked like he was last year's Brock Purdy. So for me, like I just hate that people overlook him because of where he was drafted. I think that's my biggest like thing with Brock Purdy.
I think that he can. But here's like the other part that I will say that drives me crazy is like it took 9 games for people to believe in Brock Purdy, but there's people. Jalen Hurts just went to the Super Bowl and people still don't believe in him. Like it took longer for people to believe in Jalen Hurts than it did for people to believe in Brock Purdy. And why? Jalen Hurts is light years better than him. Jalen Hurts is more talented.
The style, the historical aspect of running quarterbacks and their passing stigma, that mattered. That's why. Because when Hurts was in the league,
Jalen Hurts was a second-round pick.
Yeah, but when Hurts was in the league, he was considered as a running quarterback, right? But then when you look at Lamar Jackson, when his success, the only knock on Lamar was his inability to be a consistent thrower of the football, right? But he could do all the good things. He can run, he can do all that stuff, and he could be a leader for that team. But like I just think the stigma behind Hurts was that it was the historical model of the previous quarterbacks that came up before him, like Michael Vick, like he wasn't really deemed a good passer until he was with the Eagles. He had a great year with the Eagles.
He had a cannon,
right? He had a cannon. He had all the physical traits. He could run. He could throw, but his lack of consistency throwing the football is what gave Jalen Hurts that stigma.
Well, that's
how I see it.
Yeah, but like Jalen Hurts took over a tumultuous situation when he came to Philly.
Yeah.
Rookie head coach, he made the playoffs, and people were still saying they were doubting him. But it was a full season. He went 9-8, and he made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy made the playoffs, and now granted he won 2 games, but like everybody's already like they're ready to say that Brock Purdy can play, and nobody was ready to say that about Jalen Hurts. And it's like, why? Why? Like there should be more skepticism around Brock Purdy than there should be around Jalen Hurts. One was a second-round pick, a second-round talent. The other one, there's a reason he got to the 7th round.
Because it was a Cinderella story.
For who?
For Brock Purdy.
That's what I'm saying, but
that's why.
But by the same token, like, fuck the story.
No, I get it, but that's what sells.
But he's got to come around and play.
That's what sells.
Absolutely. If Brock Purdy turns into being like a good quarterback,
I'm rooting for him. I think he's going to be he's solid.
I don't have he looks like he can play.
Is he going to be a top 10 guy? I don't see that right now. I mean, he could be. I mean, look, after this year, we could be talking a different tune. So I don't know.
If he does anything similar to the way that Jalen Hurts leaped last year, then yeah, he's going to be in that conversation.
Well, if he gets to the Niners to another NFC Championship game, what they're going to say is, oh, well, he has a loaded roster. Can he do it without,
They're already saying that about Jalen Hurts. And
that's
it's like
stupid.
And it's like, okay, you need good players.
He did his job. That's how I see with Brock Purdy. He did his job. He took him to the NFC Championship game. Yeah, it didn't work out for him. Thank God. You know what I mean? Because I wanted the Eagles to win, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, I just feel like the lack of credit that we give Brock Purdy is kind of somewhat unfair to a degree.
So here's the thing.
Look, to be in the last pick of the draft, right?
Yeah.
And you going in there and you're taking over a franchise that already has Super Bowl aspirations. So there's a lot of pressure there, right?
Yeah.
For him to step in there, perform the way he did, and take this team to the NFC Championship game, I think he did a great job. And I that's a lot of pressure. So I got to tip my cap for him.
Yeah, no, he did do a great job. I'm just simply saying, like, with Brock Purdy, for me, it's just like, can he replicate that? Like, was he what he was last year? But he does have some limitations.
Sure.
But by the same token, like, it's like he just had elbow surgery and now you have 9 games of film. Defenses are going to confuse him. They're going to trick him. They're going to know what he was weak at. They're going to read analytic sheets. Can he throw to the right side of the field? Can he throw to the left side of the field?
But that's what every second-year quarterback, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Kenny Pickett.
But here's the thing. If
Willis.
But if Brock Purdy 7 games.
Starting, but
if Brock Purdy 7 games into the season is 2-5 or 3-4, do you pull him?
I just don't see that happening with this overall team.
Why?
Because their roster in general is very, very good. They're a top 3 roster.
They got Darnold
in the game. They're probably a top 3 roster.
I understand
defensively, they're one of the top 3 defenses in the league.
Of course, but
I would put their offense in the top 8, top 7.
If he loses though, I mean, if they come out of the gate, you got Super Bowl aspirations, and you're not delivering. What do?
Yeah, I mean, well,
They just traded Trey Lance.
I don't think they even think that way because I don't think they believe that's going to happen.
We don't have this on here, but let's go in. I want to go into that. The Cowboys got Trey Lance. What do you think about that? I forgot to write that down.
Super ass. And to me, it doesn't even make any sense because it's like, all right, they're telling me Trey Lance, they never had a shot with the Niners, right? So he asked to be traded. He got traded to a team that's going to make him the third string. He's not even going to be playing. So like, to me, I don't understand it. If you're going to be asked to be traded to a team that's going to give you an opportunity to showcase your skills. Nobody's ever going to see it in Dallas because Dak's going to he's under contract next year.
I don't know about that. We'll see about that though.
He's under contract. Well, it looks like Dak to me is not budging on that contract the last year.
I don't know if Dak
they have a $50-something million cap hit next year.
Yeah, he's their quarterback next year.
Exactly.
Here's the thing.
So what are you going to do with Trey Lance?
Well, Trey Lance
he's going to complain another year that he's not playing, and then now he's in year 5 with no experience. What are you looking to get?
Well, here's the thing: the Cowboys were the only people that jumped up and gave a 4th-round pick, but the Cowboys did it for leverage because in 2 years, Dak can't be franchise tagged.
Yeah,
Dak's contract has a no franchise tag clause in it.
But to me, I don't see that. I don't think the Cowboys made that move because they think Trey Lance is going to be their next guy.
No, I don't. But I think that they could try and develop a young guy so they don't get stranded without Dak.
It's a project. It's a 4th-round project.
Dak didn't seem too happy about that trade.
Would you?
Did you see that interview? Fuck no, I wouldn't. Especially because your owner does that and you don't tell your head coach and your quarterback. That's undermining as hell. This is why the Cowboys don't. This is why the Cowboys are always in the position that.
Well, I was shocked just for the simple reason that Cooper Rush, when he came in last year, he played excellent.
He was 5-1, wasn't he? 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want from your backup at that point? 5-1 is pretty good. I'm not saying Cooper Rush is like,
he's a backup.
Yeah, like I'm not saying he's the end all be all for Dallas. If Dak were to go down, it's like, oh yeah, we have Cooper Rush. Like, oh my God, we can still do this. But like, he's a competent backup. So for me, like I was shocked by that.
They're 8 games into the season. Dallas is 4-4. Dak Prescott gets hurt. Thumb injury again. He's out for 4 or 5 weeks. Trey Lance comes in. They go 4-0. He has 10 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Yeah.
Does he get benched?
No. He makes too much money.
I don't know. They benched Romo.
They wouldn't bench
for Dak.
They wouldn't bench Dak. They would have because I think the players in the locker room respect Dak enough.
What about Romo though? They respected Romo. Dez was still there.
But where did that get them? They didn't win shit.
Well, Dak won offensive rookie of the year.
They actually collapsed after the Romo.
Collapsed doggy.
I fuck with that.
Me too.
But like, I mean, look, I want to shout out Will Grier here because he played excellent in the last preseason game right after. So Trey Lance got traded. Will Grier was told by the Cowboys that he's going to be released. And then Will Grier steps up into the game and has 4 touchdowns, 2 running and 2 throwing. Like, to me, like, those are performances that, like, man, like, that just makes me happy, bro. That's a true underdog story. Like, yo, I know you're going to cut me, but I'm going to ball out because I know that I can put really good tape out for another team to come get me. That's an opportunity. Will Grier got an opportunity from Dallas. I got to salute Dallas for that. They gave him an opportunity to play. Knowingly that he's not going to be a part of the team. They wanted him to showcase his skills to other NFL teams. Like, to me, that's humanity purposes right there. Like, I got to salute that for the Cowboys.
My thing is, though, is like, why even go get Trey Lance? Like, what? Like, why would you do that? Because all you're doing is making for unnecessary drama.
That's what Dallas loves, though.
Like, it's all show business with Jerry Jones.
It sells. That's why they are America's team, quote unquote, because it sells.
Never win. They'll never win.
It just sells, though, man. Like, that's just what it is. Like, that's why I understood it. It was like more of a shock trade, Like,
I couldn't believe when I was reading that. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I think I might have texted you, and I'm like, is Dak on the hot seat?
I started laughing a little bit. I was like,
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if Jerry Jones saw my video, I don't think he would have pulled that trigger.
No. We need to talk about this guy. He's super ass. All right, let's go to the NFC West and break this down. 49ers are favorite at -165. Seahawks are next, +200. Rams at number 3 at +1,000. The Cardinals are +2,700. Obviously, they don't have Kyler Murray, and they have Jonathan Gannon now, rookie head coach. Who do you think wins this division, and who has the best value?
Let's make this really simple here. The Rams have a bottom 5 defense, not them. Cardinals have a bottom 3 offense and a bad overall team. They might be the worst team in the league. It ain't them.
Do you think they're tanking for Caleb Williams?
I think a lot of teams are, low key.
Well, the Cardinals are the worst team in the league.
Yeah, they are.
by far. Like, I'm trying to think of another bad team. The Texans are definitely better.
Yeah, they're gonna be a lot better.
Who else is like super ass?
The Raiders, maybe if they fall apart with Jimmy G. I mean, what do they have?
So the Raiders could rival them.
They could, because I think what's gonna happen. I mean, this is not a Raiders conversation. We're gonna stick with division here. But like, in my opinion, I think if Jimmy G struggles, I think Devontae Adams is going to want out, and I think they're going to lose Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams in the offseason next year. That's what's going to happen if shit were to go south.
Really?
Yeah, because they're not going to sign Jacobs to another deal, and Devontae Adams he's at the point in his career now where he wants to win a ring. He still has a top 5 wide receiver upside. He's still one of them. Man.
I feel like you could still make a case he's the best wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's top 3. In my opinion,
I think he's.
You put him with a good quarterback, we'd be having a different conversation about Mr. Adams.
He's 1 or 2.
Yeah. So let's go back to the division here. The Niners at 165. The quarterback to me is the biggest question mark. So like, I'm going to go with Seattle at plus 200. I think Seattle is actually a really interesting team.
For what?
They're the best value.
Or best
value.
Okay.
Best value. I think we'll go to that. But the best value is the Seahawks. I just love the moves they made. They had a great draft. They drafted a top 5 corner in the draft at number 5. And what's his name? Devin Witherspoon to pair with Tariq Woolen, who's actually really a top 5 corner last year.
Tariq Woolen, you can make an argument, was better than was Sauce Gardner.
Statistically, he was.
That's what I'm saying. But Sauce Gardner is the man.
Yeah, no, he's got
like
swagger
Sauce Gardner
about him.
a lot.
But like Tariq Woolen and Witherspoon at the cornerback position, along with Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams. Say what you want about Jamal Adams. He's talented, but he's just so damn injury prone. They added Jackson Smith and Jigba with the offense, along with Metcalf, Lockett. I think Geno's comfortable in this system. I just don't see much regression there because you have Pete Carroll. Second round, they go get Charbonnet, and they get Derek Hall at the linebacker position. They sign Bobby Wagner, which is a veteran presence to help the young kids.
I forgot they did that. I forgot Bobby Wagner went back.
Yeah. And not for nothing, I actually looked at the Super Bowl odds for the Seahawks. I actually like them at plus 3,500. They're tied 5th in the NFC in Super Bowl odds. They're tied with the Vikings.
That's a good value bet.
They're tied with
I would trust them over
3,500. I think it's a shot. I think it's a good shot in the dark there. They have a good offense.
I would trust them over the Vikings.
The defense. The only thing that lacks with the Seahawks is really their pass rush.
They have no.
If they had a pass rusher to go along with that secondary, this team would be a lot different. But the problem is that's going to haunt them. To win division, I got the Niners. I just think they're the better overall team. They're a better defense. They have a better offense. Like I'm comfortable saying that the Niners are going to win this division. And I think they're going to win it by like 2 games or more.
So for me, the best value is the Seahawks, and at plus 200. And I think the Seahawks are winning this division this year.
Wow.
I think they're bringing back the same team. They added a better wide receiver. I don't know if Brock Purdy can replicate what he did last season. Only playing 9 games. I think they got I think defensive coordinators have a ton of film on him. And he just had surgery on his throwing elbow. So I think that I don't know, man. The 49ers are still bitching about that NFC Championship game. Like, they're still crying about it. They're still haunted about it.
Could fuel them, though.
I don't know. I just think there's some whiny bitches they've been. So I'm taking Seattle all day long. I really do like Seattle to win this division. I think they win. I think they could win this division at 12-5.
Wow. 12-5? Did you go through their schedule?
I don't need to. No, let's go through it.
Shit. Their schedule is it's doable.
Let me see if I can find 12 wins here.
It's doable. I couldn't find 12 wins. All
right. So Rams week 1, they could win.
Well, wait, time out. Let's do the over-unders first.
All right.
For each team, and then we'll go into that.
Yeah, it's your show.
It's not my show. I'm just trying to go in order so it makes sense that when we talk about their schedule, we could say why we have them at what we have.
You're so smart.
I'm very smart. I'm very calculated. I got over under the Niners 10.5. What do you got?
That's a good number. I'll say under. I'll keep them right at 10.
All right, I got them at 11-6. I'm going to go with the overs. Seahawks 8.5 over under.
Way over.
Crazy.
Way over.
All right. I got them at 9-8. I think they just make the overs.
All right.
Rams 6.5.
I'm going to say under. I just, that's a low ass number. So like, it kind of scares me, but they have no weapons outside of Cooper Kupp. And their defense is trash.
Yeah.
Their defense is some Caesar.
Oh shit. LOL.
LOL.
I got the Rams under. I think they're a 3-4 win team.
For real?
For real. I'm very confident in saying that. We're gonna go through their schedule too. They're a 3-4 win team. This team they're gonna be really bad. Their schedule is really tough too, I think. Cardinals, over under 4.5.
Way under. They'd be lucky to win 2 games.
I got them at 3-14. 2-3 games. They're gonna be the number one. They're gonna be a rival for the number one.
The Cardinals are ass. Whether Kyler Murray comes back or not,
it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't think Kyler Murray is ever gonna play for the Cardinals again.
He's not.
I actually had that weird belief where he's not going to play this year, and then they're going to cut bait.
He's not.
They might have to eat all that money, but it is what it is. They made a mistake. That's why you don't pay a fucking player 2 years ahead. That's why. That is because that's a business. Now the Cardinals are fucked out of 200 and something million.
You know who else got paid?
That's
2
why,
years
bro.
Early? You know who else got paid 2 years early? Carson Wentz.
Exactly right.
Look at that. Now, different circumstance.
Yeah, I get it. But
even so,
same result.
Same premise. Yeah.
A waste of money, like right there. Like I don't know, whatever. But let's go through the Seahawks schedule here.
All right. They play the Rams week 1. They can win that. Then they play the Lions. They could win that one. They play the Panthers. That's a definite dub. They play the Giants. They could that could be a dub. They play the Bengals. That's a loss. They play the Cardinals. That's a dub. Browns could be a dub. Ravens, I'll say loss. Commanders could be a dub. Rams again will be a dub. I think they'll split with the 49ers. The Cowboys, that could be a dub. Eagles, that's an L. Titans, dub. Steelers, could be, but I don't think so because I'm high on the Steelers this year. And then they play the Cardinals again. So they could eke 12 wins out of this.
I got them losing to the Lions, the Bengals, the Browns.
You and these fucking Browns.
Commanders is an up-and-coming team, so like that game is kind of weird. But I'm gonna give them the win there because Seattle's they are home.
They're home, yeah.
The week before that, they play the Ravens in Baltimore. I'm gonna give them the L there too. So what's that? 4 losses?
Mm-hmm.
I have 4 losses so far. So then we go to the Rams. They're gonna win that. I think they'll split with the Niners and they'll lose to Dallas. So that's 2 more losses right there. I have how many losses is
5
that?
or 6.
6. Then they have the Eagles. There's 7 losses. And I think they lose the Titans or the Steelers game. I want to say they're going to beat the Steelers because they're home. And they're going to lose to Tennessee because it's a across the country game. So that's where I have them at 9-8.
Okay.
So I do like their over win total here. I think I don't want to say it's a lock.
Yeah.
But I like this. I'm betting on the talent.
Yeah, I think they're an 11 or 12 win team. Absolutely. I really do. I think they're going to be really good this year, dude. I don't think last year was a fluke. I think that Pete Carroll is a better offensive coach than people give him credit for. And I think that when you get a quarterback that is just talented, he could run Pete Carroll's offense.
But look, I don't think 9-8 is a slight.
That's what they were last year.
I think 9-8 gets you a wild card round. I think it gets you in the wild card, 6th seed.
You do in the NFC.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The weak NFC, that gets you a wild card spot. Like, I think they're making the playoffs, period.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then I go through the Rams schedule. They play Seattle opening week. That's an L. They're playing against the Niners the second week. That's an L. They play the Bengals. L. They play the Colts. Maybe win. I'll say they beat the Colts.
Nah, chill on me. Maybe win against the Colts.
Maybe. Who knows?
The Colts are going to be trash.
What if Anthony Richardson is fucking damn good? We don't know that yet, right?
I don't tell me how ass he was.
I'm just saying, I don't believe in him, but what if he just turns on the Jets in the season? I don't know.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I'll give you that, Nikki.
Right? So 1-3 after the first month. They're 1-3. Then they play the Eagles. That's an L. They play the they play the Cardinals. That's a win. They play the Steelers. That's an L. They play the Cowboys. That's an L. They play the Packers. I think it's an L. It's in Green Bay. They play the Seahawks. That's an L. They're playing the Cardinals. That's a dub. That's 3 wins.
Bro, hold on. Look at this. They play the Seahawks, the Niners, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Steelers, and the Cowboys defense.
Yeah.
In the first 7 weeks of the season.
But that's not even it, though. The last 6 games, they play the Browns, who I think are going to be a good football team. They play the Ravens in Baltimore. Then they play the Commanders, who I think is going to be a pretty decent team, a solid team, a better team than the Rams, in my opinion. And then they play the Saints. Then they play the Giants, and then they play the Niners. Like, to me, like I just see 4 wins of this team. And because you know what's going to happen is if they start off 2-6, you bet your ass Matthew Stafford's not going to be playing.
You don't think so?
I just don't see it.
They're going to put in Stetson Bennett.
They have to. Aaron Donald's going to be retiring after this year. After what their record is going to be, he's going to be done with this team.
Unless they trade him mid-season to a contender.
I don't see that.
Something.
I don't see how somebody that's on the cusp of retirement is going to look to want to be traded. At that point, he's going to be like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here." At that point, you know, he's already accomplished. He's already a Hall of Famer. What more does he have to win? Like, he's already won a ring. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. Like, he's a well-accomplished player. So for me, like, if he still has the passion, I can see it. But I just don't think he's going to after this offseason with him flirting with retirement. So for me, I just think this Rams team is getting ready to collapse. Like, I'm dead serious.
Crazy.
I'm serious. I look at this schedule and it's tough because if Matthew Stafford is benched for midway, through the season, I think their second half is still tough. I still think. I mean, look, they have Cooper Kupp, but what else do they have? They have a shitty offensive lineman and they have an aging quarterback. To me, and then I heard the report that Stafford he's not connecting with these young players, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, all right, bro, you want a ring, and now you're just playing. You're not even.
He didn't even say that. His wife said it on her podcast.
Which is if his wife said it, it's true because they talk behind closed doors.
Pillow
talk. Yeah.
The words out of my mouth.
It is pillow talk. Yeah. So like my thing is just like that whole thing just scares the shit out of me with that. So like I am completely out on the Rams after seeing their schedule, after hearing that report. I don't love it for this team, and I think their defense is going to be a bottom 5 unit.
Damn, go off, sis. I like that analysis. It's funny as shit. Because it was just like, I think the Rams are a 3 or 4 win team.
I just do.
You said it with your chest.
I believe that.
You meant that shit.
Yeah.
And then the Cardinals obviously are booty.
Yeah, the Cardinals are going to be rivaling with the Rams. We were for the bottom of the barrel here.
My God. All right. Over under 2.5 teams that make the playoffs out of this division.
Yeah, under. I got the Seahawks and Niners.
I'm going to say under 2. I think that's the only way.
Mm-hmm.
And then who's your favorite fantasy player?
DK Metcalf, man. Last year, I think if anybody's going to lose targets in the passing game, it's going to be Tyler Lockett because Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be there. Because last year, DK Metcalf had 90 catches on 141 targets, over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, like with Geno Smith here, right? If that was any other player, I
think Lockett had more targets than him, though. They throw the ball a lot.
They throw a lot. They throw the ball a lot. So to me, I love DK Metcalf, man. I think he's only going to get better.
I'll go with Mr. The regular.
The CMC?
CMC.
Yeah.
I get it.
Look, I try to be different.
How could you not? Yeah, how could you not? But like, you could even put Kupp in that argument.
Yeah, oh hell yeah.
You can. Unless Matthew Stafford gets benched, but even so, he's still going to be a target. He's
still going to eat.
He's a target hog, dude. And until somebody shows me that they could stop him, and if you want to blame it on scheme or whatever it is, until you show me that you can stop him when he's healthy and on the field, he's a threat.
Yep. He's excellent.
All right. AFC South breakdown, and then we're getting out of here. Jaguars are favored at -155. Titans are next at +310. Colts at +550. Texans at +1,000. Who has the best value and who wins the division?
Titans, and it's not close. The addition of D-Hop will help this offense. Mike Vrabel, to me, is an awesome coach, and he will have this team ready to play. They still have Derrick Henry. They have D-Hop. They got Treylon Burks in his second year.
Regarding Henry.
Yeah. I mean, look, when I think of the Tennessee Titans, I always think of Mike Vrabel. Like, I think of Vrabel and Derrick Henry. This guy just feeds his best players the ball. He doesn't try to get cute. He doesn't do anything spectacular, like outside the box. He's saying, yo, we have Derrick Henry. We're running it 30 times down your throat, and I don't give a fuck. You're going to figure out a way to stop it. And that's what he does. He's a defensive mind coach, too, which that's how they play ball. They run the ball into the ground. They milk the clock, and they play solid defense. This is the Tennessee Titans football that they play. And I just always think of Mike Vrabel as the defensive masterclass that he did against the Baltimore Ravens in the 2019 divisional round.
He put it last week.
he put the absolute clamps on Lamar Jackson's ability to run the football in that game and be effective. That was a week before. Actually, the week before that, he ended Brady's career in New England in his last game there. So with Ryan Tannehill. So to me, like, I think they're always in the hunt when they have Mike Vrabel as the head coach. So for me, at +310, I'll take that value. To win division, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it's not even, to me, it's hands the fuck down. This team is so fucking loaded. This team is primed for a Super Bowl run. And it's crazy to say that because a few years ago, this team was an absolute disaster. They were, and then the owner had problems with the coach. The coach in Urban Meyer was fucking like,
he didn't know who Aaron
he was
Donald
kicking.
was.
He was kicking his kickers and he was kicking his players. And he didn't know who Aaron Donald was. Like, I don't even think he was capping. That's the crazy part.
No, he wasn't. He said, "Who's number 99 over there?"
Right. And then from they went from that to having Doug Peterson, right? They made a lot of changes. They drafted Travis Etienne. They signed Evan Ingram. They got Zay Jones. They got Christian Kirk. They traded for Calvin Ridley. They gave their young quarterback an absolute opportunity for him to be successful and go on a Super Bowl run. And when you have a head coach and Doug Peterson, who's done it before with the Eagles, who's never won a Super Bowl, right? And he did it with Nick Foles. Now he has Trevor Lawrence at his disposal with these weapons. To me, it's not even close. Like, I think this offense is going to be so explosive. They're going to be like really fun to watch.
It's the Jaguars by a mile for me for who's going to win the division. I mean, for everything you just said, and it's like,
well, who's your best value?
My best value, the Titans. The Colts aren't going to be anything, and the Texans aren't going to be anything. The Texans don't have any good skill players outside of Dameon Pierce. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
It's all mid. So it's like, and then the Colts, it's like Anthony Richardson is an enigma. You have no idea what you're getting from him. So it's like, when you just look at that, look, Steichen gave Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts the best years of their career.
Yeah. My career.
Can he do it with Anthony Richardson? Maybe next year, but who knows? I don't know. But even so, even if Anthony Richardson's a beast, the Colts stink. They have a bottom wide receiver. They have a bottom 5 wide receiver group, and now Jonathan Taylor can't play for the first 4 weeks.
Yeah,
and their owner loves cocaine. So, and then the Jaguars are winning this division. I think the Jaguars have a chance to represent the Super Bowl for the AFC. I think the Jaguars this year are going to be so good between the Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence second year, everybody being together. You're getting Calvin Ridley back. Like I said it last year, like Calvin Ridley was the best pickup of the trade deadline.
Oh yeah. It was quietly though.
That's what I'm saying, because it wasn't immediate.
Right.
It was for this year.
Right. Now everybody's like, holy shit.
People better not forget.
Now everybody's eyes are popping like they like a snack on spinach. You know what I mean? They're like, oh shit.
So you know what I mean? Like, I think the Jaguars are going to pull up and have an ambulance waiting.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that's just, it's crazy, man. The Jaguars might be a 13 or 14 win team this season, especially in the division, because nobody in the division's beating them.
You know what's funny about that is, like, you told me maybe about 2 months ago or maybe a month ago, you like, yo, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags were the number 1 seed. They're in an easy division. I'm
going to talk about it now. We're going to be talking about that next week. But no, I still stand by that.
That's actually like,
I think the Jags,
I don't hate it, man.
I think the Jags have an inside track to be the number 1 seed.
I really
do. I think that they could go 6-0 in their division. And I just think that if they could win, I think the Jaguars are just going to be really good. I think the only reason that people aren't all jumping on the Jags train yet is because, like, it's the fucking Jags. But they hired a legitimate head coach. They didn't go to college. They didn't get some random guy. Like, they didn't get like a leftover. Like, I'm trying to think who's like a leftover that always gets hired. Ben McAdoo.
Yeah.
Or some like Freddie Kitchens. Marvin Lewis or Mike McCarthy
Mike McCarthy.
Who was the dude? Who was Baker's coach? The short little black dude. He was on the Raiders.
Oh my God. What was his name? I can't even remember him. He's so irrelevant.
Google it for me. But like, so like they got him.
God, who is that? Hold on.
It's like they didn't. Jason Garrett, like my brother just said, like Jason Garrett's trash.
Jason Garrett.
He's trash, bro. But like, I'm serious. Like they got Doug Peterson. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. He won it with his backup. And who knows what would happen if Alshon Jeffrey doesn't drop that ball to hit him right in his hands.
Right.
So it's like when I see that, I'm like, why can't the Jags be that team? Why can't the Jags do it? They have the schedule to do it. They have the easy division to do it. I think they could sneak up on people.
When did Baker come in the league?
2017.
Browns head coach. 20.
I could see him.
I know.
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson. Yo, I just couldn't remember it, bro. That's so
ass
funny.
As hell.
Yeah.
He's ass. So
he's forgettable.
100%.
So, yo, how would you break down this? Like, what record do you have the Jags? And where do you have the Titans, the Colts, and the Texans? Because I think I'm going to tell you something about this division.
I didn't write down their over and unders.
That's all right.
It's all good.
It's all good. But like, just rank them. Like, you think the Jags are win division? They're number 1.
I think the Jags win the division. I think they have about 14 wins.
Okay.
I would say.
Wow.
I think the Titans.
14
up there.
Woo.
About 14. It could be 13.
Their schedule is really fucking cake, though. Wow. I actually don't even hate that.
That's why I said I think the Jags have the inside track. They might not be the best team in the AFC, but the Jaguars they could have the track to get to the 1 seed because of their schedule. Like they open up with the Colts. That's a dub. Then they play the Chiefs. That could go either way.
Yep.
That's a revenge game, though, however. They could win that. Then they play the Texans. That's a dub. They play the Falcons. That's a dub. They play the Bills. That could be a dub also. That could go either way, though.
In Buffalo.
That could go either way. Then they play the Colts. Dub. Saints. Dub. Steelers. That could be an L. 49ers. 49ers are coming across the country. That's a dub. And it's at 1:00. Then they play the Titans. Dub. They play the Texans. Dub. They play the Bengals. That could go either way. They play the Browns. Dub. They play the Ravens. That could go either way. Bucks. Dub. Panthers. Dub. Titans. Dub. They have the schedule to do it. They get, just like I said last year when I said the Eagles could be the 1 seed. When I'm looking at the schedule, the way it falls, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not saying they're the best team, but I'm saying they have the track where it makes sense for them to be the 1 seed. And I think that is the Jaguars this year.
That's a great bet.
So I think the Jaguars are a 14-win team-ish. I think the Titans have like 8 or 9 wins because Mike Vrabel's a top 5 head coach, and he just keeps them in it. I think I don't think D-Hop's done. I think Ryan Tannehill can feed them. Then the Colts, I would say if they win 5 games, that will be successful. I don't see that, though. They're in a hard-ass AFC. And then you have the Texans at plus 1,000. I mean, 3 games.
I'll be real with
4
you.
games.
I'll be real. I had the Texans ahead of the Colts. It sounds absolutely crazy, and I get it. But the Texans, to me, I
won't be shocked, but I won't go that.
They got Stroud. They got a running back. They don't have an offensive weapon on the outside. But I think Nico Collins can step up and have a nice role. I actually think I like their head coach. I just think the Texans, to me, I think they had a quietly good offseason. I think they're setting themselves up for the future.
They just got to they need to make a splash at wide receiver or a big skill position player for CJ Stroud.
Sure.
You know who next year, keep an eye on this. If T. Higgins does not get signed and Joe Burrow does not take less money so that they could sign Chase and Higgins will be with the Texans making $35 million a year for CJ Stroud.
I don't hate it. And then what they can do is they can draft another wide receiver, and then there you go.
Because
you have a dynamic duo. It kind of looks like the Eagles a little bit.
And also, they had the Browns' first-round pick too, from Deshaun Watson.
There you go.
So they're going to have 2 first-round picks. And if the Browns are where I think the Browns are a 7-8 win team, that's going to be in the upper echelon of that. So now you're going to have 2 top 15 picks. That's how you could build. What happens if the Chargers are the second worst team in the league behind the Cardinals? The Cardinals are drafting a quarterback.
Sure.
Even if they're at worst, they're third. The Cardinals are drafting a quarterback. The Raiders are drafting a quarterback. Who's going to be sitting at number 3? The Texans. Who's the best wide receiver? Marvin Harrison Jr. Now you got T. Higgins and Marvin Harrison Jr. to go with Damian Pierce and a second-year quarterback with DeMeco Ryans, who I believe is going to be a good head coach.
Yeah, they set themselves up.
And there you go. The Texans are now set up to compete with the Jaguars, and in that division, that's what you need. And instantly, if they have T. Higgins and Marvin Harrison Jr., they instantly leap the Colts and the and the Titans.
You think Caleb Williams is Arizona's target?
Them or the Raiders?
I can argue. To me, I think the knock on Kyler Murray is he's too damn short. It's not the arm talent. It's not the accuracy. Kyler Murray, he's very accurate.
He has all of that. I just think that I think he has a bad attitude.
Yeah, sure.
He's not durable. I think it's a red flag that you start out 7-0 and never made the playoffs. I think Kyler Murray has been overrated from the get. I've been on that. I know we laughed about that and shouldn't have passed, but I really believe that.
Yeah.
And comparatively speaking, we used to have our fun battles back in the day, but Kyler Murray's best year was not better than Baker Mayfield's best year.
Right.
Kyler Murray did not turn the Cardinals around. He won 3 games. He won 5 games. He won 9 games. Okay. That's not a big deal. And then you get the floor wiped with you in your first playoff game.
Well, look, I'll look at it like this, because I know the knock on Kyler Murray, he's too short and stuff like that. But Caleb Williams is 6'1". Kyler Murray is listed as 5'10".
Kyler Murray is not 5'10".
Is it that much of a difference?
I'm 5'9".
I'm just saying that's what he's listed. I don't know the exact thing, but he's listed at 5'10".
Then E is 6'2".
So my thing is so my thing is is it really an upgrade? In terms of talent? Well, talent, you could say Caleb Williams, but I don't know, man. I think Kyler Murray has accuracy. I think he has a big arm. I just think the the problem with him is he can't see over the fucking line of scrimmage. So when teams are blitzing, he legitimately can't see it. He's just throwing the ball up, and he has good accuracy to put the ball on the money, but sometimes he puts himself in harm's way a little bit.
I'm glad you said that, but here's the problem, and I think the Cardinals know this. He tore his ACL. His legs are never going to be the same.
Do you think that's true?
And he needs them. I do.
I think some people bounce back from ACL tears.
I don't really, outside of Brady, AP, who really, Carson Wentz, that was part of that ruined his career. Outside
Javonte Williams is going to have an opportunity this year.
He will. We'll see. Javonte will be an example. Can he do it?
Yeah.
However, but it's different. It's different, dude.
It's a different dynamic because he's more of a get out of the
and
pocket.
He's a bigger, huskier dude. He can withstand that.
But I just, even with Caleb Williams, like I just don't think that it even puts them in on top. Like I just don't see it. You know what I mean? Like to me, I almost kind of I don't want to say it's a lateral move because obviously I would take the younger prospect. But to me, it's like skill set wise, yeah, lateral move. If you really want to be real.
I got you. I just feel like for me, like there's just so many red flags with him, dude.
And absolutely. Like, I'm not saying I'm a big Kyler Murray fan, but I'm not gonna deny his accuracy though. He's a good thrower of the football. I will say that. But his inability to see over the line is the big problem with him.
If you put Jimmy G's attitude on Kyler Murray's into Kyler Murray, you probably have a top 10 quarterback.
Arguably, yeah.
Jimmy G's attitude, work ethic, that's all it is.
Humility. Yeah.
And if you put Kyler Murray's accuracy instead on Jimmy G, there you go.
Like Jimmy G got casted to the Raiders, fam.
Don't be surprised if the Raiders win 6-7. Why can't they?
Why can't they? Right? They have the weapons. I'm
a fan of Jimmy G. I'm rooting for the Raiders this year because if Jimmy G gets the Raiders to 6, 7, maybe 8 wins, what are you going to say? That bum ass team. Devontae Adams has a couple. Has 1,400 yards. Jimmy G wins. He just can't stay healthy. Jimmy G always wins.
He does. He finds a way. But is it him that does it though? Like, look, if he wins 6 or 7 games, right?
Yeah.
To me, he's on the same platform as Derek Carr did.
Yeah, but I feel like Derek
Carr, they went 6-11 last year.
But I feel like if people were to say like if you polled GMs like who do you want, Derek Carr or Jimmy G? Like I want Jimmy G all day long. I don't even see how you can make an argument for Derek.
Like right now, I would take DC.
I'm taking Jimmy Garoppolo.
Not right now. Not right now.
I mean, I look, bro. I don't know. I'm just looking at the optics here. He's 16 games under 500 as a starter. Jimmy G is like top 10 in winning percentages as a starting quarterback.
I get it.
It's like I get it. Derek Carr is more talented than Jimmy, but sometimes hard work and your mental beats that talent.
But we're getting ready to see what it's like when you play with a Raiders kind of team. You know what I mean? Like he's going to experience a different culture with the Raiders than he is with the Niners.
But here's the thing: Derek Carr got benched.
Right.
For what reason? I don't know.
They were moving on regardless. Honestly, they had every intention to move on. Yeah. Once they knew they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, they were moving on. And that was what they just wanted to see what they had on their roster for next year. So, like, obviously, Derek Carr wanted to finish out, the season because he loved that, he loved that team. He loved that city. He feels like he deserved to finish that season.
They did him dirty.
They did him dirty. Absolutely.
And I know I just said he's 16 games under 500. I get it. But he gave you everything he had for what, 10 years?
That's what I'm saying.
He was there for what, 10 years?
He was there for about a solid 9, I would say.
He was drafted in 13.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was fucked up. It was, you know what it was? It was just like when Ben McAdoo, I've mentioned Ben McAdoo 3 times tonight. It's just when Ben McAdoo benched Eli and ruined that starting record to start Geno Smith.
That was stupid. That
you took away like a serious, an Iron Man historical record that is never going to be broken.
This is his 10th year.
Okay. Yeah.
Derek Carr.
13.
I actually think Derek Carr is going to be really good this year with the Saints.
I would love for it. I don't hate Derek Carr. I'm a fan of Derek Carr. I think he's good. I just think that's it though. He's a good quarterback, but it's just,
I think he's a good quarterback that needs a defense and weapons.
Yeah, like he's not changing life. He needs a team around. That's okay.
Like the Raiders were literally a bottom 5 defensive unit, a bottom 10 defensive unit. And historically, you're not going to win many games or go far with a unit like that. Like, I mean, Derek Carr was still putting up pretty good stats, I would say. I think his stats were still really good. He's threw for 4,000 yards, 1, 2, 3, 4 times out of 10 years.
You know what's crazy?
And he was on the cusp of it twice. We had 3,900 and 3987 and 3937. To me, that's 4,000 yards. So out of 6 out of the 9 seasons, he had 4,000 yards or more. Like, look, you say what you want. I just know that he's not successful on the record, and I get that. But if you throw 35,000 yards and 217 touchdowns with 99 picks, I don't think you're that bad. I think it tells me that the reason why you weren't successful is because your defense really made the difference.
Yeah. And this goes back and it goes back to what I was saying, like, because I know we're talking about like attitude and if you put this player here,
yeah, I get it.
Like that. So it's like, you think about this, who's more talented, Carson Wentz or Derek Carr? Carson Wentz.
Talented. Yeah, absolutely.
But
I don't hate that.
Look at Derek Carr's attitude.
Right.
Look at his preparation.
Right.
Look at how he interacts with his teammates. That's what that is. Look, I don't know if that's the truth, but there's something missing with Carson Wentz in those locker rooms.
Right.
Because he's good enough to be a backup.
Yeah.
But that's just what I'm saying. More talented versus that. Kyler Murray's more talented than Jimmy G and Derek Carr. But when it comes down to it, you got to vibe with your teammates and you got to work hard and you got to be a leader and all that. He doesn't have that. Like I said it when they made that contract to $200 million. How do you pay somebody $200 million and you're putting stipulations in there that you have to read your playbook?
That's not a $200 million man.
No. That's a guy that you just say like, all right, bro, you can walk. We don't want
right.
Why would you even waste your time?
No, I'm with you, dude. I thought that was an insane contract. And you pay a guy 2 years, before his rookie contract. To me, I don't believe in that. I want to see the full product.
Unless it's Hurts, unless it's like you go to a Super Bowl. If you go to a Super Bowl and you have one of those type of years where you're in the MVP conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, you deserve to get paid. I get it. Like Burrow should be paid.
But again, Wentz had an MVP type of season. He got paid, and look what happened.
But they paid him off of an ACL too. That's true. Weird about the Eagles because again, like I don't trust that shit. I don't trust that shit.
I don't either. But let's talk about. So, did you hear about the Patriots today?
Yes. What's up with that?
Yeah.
It went from an open competition to cutting both backups.
I'm sorry, but that is kind of crazy.
This is what I'm talking about with Bill Belichick, dude. This is why I hate this dude.
He has one quarterback on the roster.
And
now everybody was saying, oh, yeah, bring Brady back and Tom Brady's going to come back, this, that. But that is absolutely stupid.
I just mentioned them. Wentz should go there. Because he will learn from somebody like Bill Belichick that will humble his. Well, he's already humbled.
The problem is I don't think it would work.
But I feel like structurally and things like that, Bill Belichick could teach him some stuff.
He could, but Wentz is more like I just don't see Belichick having the patience for him.
Maybe, but
and not for nothing. Ever since we saw that photo of Carson Wentz, I haven't heard a peep about that motherfucker.
I know.
So whatever marketing he did, he didn't do a good job, man. That was terrible marketing.
It was like, you know what he reminds me? He reminds me of Dylan Mulvaney. You tried to pull some shit and it backfired right in your face.
It didn't stick.
Yeah.
Like let's say that. But like I was surprised when the Patriots cut Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, because I thought Malik Cunningham was a project that the Patriots were going to kind of explore.
It could have been fun for them, or like, yeah, it would have been something that they could explore.
Yeah, because like it's a different style offense than what they're used to.
Yeah,
the Patriots always seem to be like kind of like adjusting to like around the league. Look at the landscape. Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, the Sean Watt, the running quarterbacks, right? The guys that can do all that shit. Like I was surprised that the Patriots didn't explore more with Cunningham because when I watched him play in that one preseason game, I saw flashes of a guy that was pretty good. I thought he was a pretty good project. Or he can make something out of himself, right? But then they cut Bailey Zappi, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Everybody was telling me Bailey Zappi was better than Mac Jones, and he should start over Mac Jones. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what? What? I know. And now he's cut. So it's like, to me, it's very confusing. And I just don't know why they have one quarterback on the roster. It's starting to seem like ever since that Brady left, it's like Patriots are doing things they have never done before. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like last year, they had a defensive coordinator as their offensive coordinator. And now they're going into the season 9 days away from opening kickoff. And they have one quarterback on the roster. Well, how are you going to get the other quarterback back up to speed just in case you actually really needed him? Because if Mac Jones gets hurt week one, what's your plan?
This is why I hate Bill Belichick, bro. He lost his fastball.
What's your plan?
Lost his
That's my
fastball.
only question.
He's like Jamie Moyer.
He's always got a plan, but look, are the Patriots looking to trade for a veteran to coach up Mac Jones? Like, to me, that would make sense because you have too many young quarterbacks on the roster. Who's Mac Jones going to learn off of? But if he bring in a veteran quarterback, now Mac can learn from him.
You know who would be a good guy to get there? Matt Ryan. Professional, been there before. Bill Belichick type of guy. Puts his head down, carries his lunch pail to work.
You think Matt Ryan would go there, though, after losing to 28-3? No, I don't think he would do that, bro.
That's true.
That would be some scarring shit.
Yeah.
But, like,
it just doesn't make any sense. You it's an open competition. I mean, everybody's competing.
Yeah.
They're competing. Yeah, they're competing. And then you cut them. What?
Yeah. Well, maybe like the only logical explanation I can say is that they are going after a veteran quarterback.
Or they just want to prove to Mac, they wanted to do it for Mac Jones' confidence and say, you are our guy. No Bill Zapp shit. No Millie Cunningham shit. You are our guy. Take the reins and go for it.
It's not a bad idea to bring in a veteran quarterback, though, especially to help Mac Jones.
No,
I actually like, if that's the reason why they cut these guys, I don't hate it. But you can't expect to go get somebody without them signing and then cut your players beforehand. Because there's no guarantee that player is going to come to you anyway, unless you trade for somebody.
They some dogs.
So, like, I don't know who they can trade. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out a quarterback around the league, but I don't have a quarterback in mind. I don't.
I have no idea.
I don't.
I have no idea. I really don't know somebody they could bring in. Wentz.
Maybe Brady goes there and kind of coaches a little bit, but Brady's a part owner of the Raiders now.
Yeah, he ain't going there.
He ain't going there. He'll be there opening week for his statue or whatever, his celebratory day. But outside of that, I think Brady's staying away from that organization. I think he's gonna want to retire as a Patriot, but he's got a stake right now with the Raiders, and I think he's gonna expand his TB12 brand to Las Vegas.
Agreed. All right, guys, that concludes episode 170. We'll be back next Wednesday to preview Thursday night, give our Super Bowl predictions, MVP predictions, offensive rookie of the year, and all that shit. Theories, take it away.
That was a pod. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate all the love, support, and the comments. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Megaphone, Stitcher,
and all that other shit.
Also, follow us on all of our social platforms as you do not want to miss our daily content on X, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And we will see you guys this Thursday at P&I, baby.
I'm caps lock different. It's facts, not fiction. Said I black out for real, then the track gone missing. If it's cap, I'm dipping. We ain't talking about a move, then it's flatline finished. When I spaz, I'm grinning. Put a peel off in the Sadies and I pass by spinning. It's perks with this life, but I don't have my skinach. Took a quick trip and now I'm back home winning. And I see they eyes pop like I snack on spinach. Pull up to the spot, she tryna grab my digits. I'm already 8 shots, a Henny past my limit. Here you go. Hazards with a dash full of tickets. I'ma act like I don't see them. I got bad eye vision. Y'all can't pass my scrimmage. Way y'all tripping, it's Aruba. I realized I had to